Introduction. The cell is enclosed by a single membrane called the cell membrane. It separates the internal cell's environment from its surroundings. It also known as the plasma membrane or the plasma. It is a thin wall comprises of an underlying framework of polysaccharide chains that are close linked with the help of short peptide chains. Its outer surface is coated with lipopolysaccharide.
Welcome everyone. In this video we will be discussing the cell membrane.
Structure of cell membrane. The cell membrane is primarily composed of a mix of proteins and lipids. Depending on the membrane's location and role in the body, lipids can make up anywhere from 20 to 80% of the membrane, with the remainder being proteins. While lipids help to give membrane their flexibility, proteins monitor and maintain the cell's chemical climate and assist in the transfer of molecules across the membrane. Cell membrane lipids. Phospholipids are a major component of cell membranes. Phospholipids form a lipid bilayer in which their hydrophilic, attracted to water, head areas spontaneously arranged to face the aqueous cytosol and the extracellular fluid, while their hydrophobic, repelled by water, tail areas faced away from the cytosols and the extracellular fluid. The lipid bilayer is a semi-permeable, allowing only certain molecules to diffuse across the membrane. Cholesterol is another lipid component of animal cell membranes. Cholesterol molecules are selectively dispersed between membrane phospholipids. This helps to keep cell membrane from becoming stiff by preventing phospholipids from being too closely packed together. Cholesterol is not found in the membranes of plant cells. The glycolipids are located on cell membrane surface and have a carbohydrate sugar chain attached to them. They help the cell to recognize other cells of the body. Cell membranes proteins. The cell membrane contains two types of associated proteins. Peripheral membrane proteins are exterior to and connected to the membrane by interactions with each other. Integral membrane proteins are inserted into the membrane and must pass through the membrane. Portions of these transmembrane proteins are exposed on both sides of the membrane. Cell membrane proteins have a number of different functions. Structural proteins help to give the cell support and shape. Cell membrane receptor proteins help cells to communicate with their external environment through the use of hormones, neurotransmitter, and other signaling molecules. Transport proteins such as globular proteins transport molecules across cell membranes through facilitated diffusion. Glycoproteins have a carbohydrate chain attached to them. They are embedded in the cell membrane and help in cell communications and molecule transport across the membrane. Function of cell membrane. Functions of the cell membrane are very diverse due to its complex structure. It is the principal lipids are phospholipids, sphingolipids. An imperative feature of these lipids is they are the collection of hydrophobic water-insoluble hydrocarbon sections and hydrophilic water-soluble units. It comprises charged units, phosphate or amino group, and uncharged units like hexose. In water, such compounds position themselves in such a technique that only the hydrophilic section is exposed to water. 1. It collapses the cell in organized form. 2. It is selectively penetratable or permeable membrane which permits water, certain compulsory nutrients, and metal ions to permeate freely among it. 3. It attaches waste products. 4. It keeps out toxic materials from the cell. 5. It comprises receptors to bind monitoring substances. 6. It binds to hormone which regulate the countless metabolic activities. 7. It assists as a steroid of attachment for the cytoskeleton in the same organisms. 8. Cell supports the cell and supports in maintaining the shape of the cell. 9. It is the collection of lipids and proteins. 10. Lipids provide flexibility to the cell membrane and proteins preserve the chemical microclimate of the cell and also aid in the transmission of molecules across the membrane.